ladies and gentlemen, on the hypocrisy of the polite crowd because of the recent interactions that I've had with Professor Anton, Thou Art That, and their various ilk. I've come to a bizarre realization, which I didn't have evidence for before. This never even occurred to me, really. I go on there and I make this rude video attacking Professor Anton, saying that he's pretty moronic and stuff he says is just basically a bunch of babble. And the replies that I get, and I actually step through the stuff and I explain things where he's wrong and things like this. So I didn't just put up a video and say what a douchebag, what an idiot, what a jerk, and turn the camera off. I gave logical arguments, I read stuff through, it's up to you to decide whether or not it makes sense or not, and I read stuff that was complete nonsense, babble, idiocy, and anyone with their brain on straight can tell it doesn't make sense to babble on and not put a period at the end of your sentence and stuff. Fine. How do they reply to me? They reply to me saying, don't be so rude, don't be so arrogant. They call me arrogant. They say that I have all these assumptions about the world and philosophy and stuff and the validity of objective truth and so on. They call my ideas and my philosophy outdated. They say that I pigeonhole things. They say that I don't think carefully enough. They say that I'm just being dismissive and rude. Okay? Everything they accuse me of doing, namely being rude and not being polite and being mean, that's what they do when they address my video. But there's one thing they leave out, oddly. They leave out the logic part. They leave out the part where they prove anything at all. They leave out the part where they give any argument. They leave out the part where they persuade in any way. The only thing that they do is to insult and degrade and ad hominem attack me, which is exactly what they're complaining about me doing. The insulting, degrading, and ad hominem attacks. Now, I can insult and degrade and attack because they're parading around with no clothes on saying how fancy are my clothes, like the emperor with no clothes. I can attack that. But I only do it when I come in with logic and reason and, you know, I parade their arguments around. How stupid are these arguments? Look at this moron with this argument. I don't just come in and say, look at this moron, which is what they do when they reply to my videos. They just come and say, come on, you're just being stupid, you just got these old ideas, you're out of fashion, you're just being rude to people, you're pigeonholing them. No, they're being rude to me. Okay? When I was rude to them, at least I brought logic. Now, I don't care if they're being rude. They can go to hell, but it just shows how hypocritical they are. They get all their panties all in a bunch because I'm being rude, and what they do is they reply by being rude. Even Professor Anton saying that I need to open my mind and I'm just being stubborn and I'm not thinking about these things and stuff. Excuse me, sir. I am thinking about these things. No, I don't need to open my mind. I need to be objectively minded. You know, if you're open-minded, your brain will fall out. So it's odd. It's strange, isn't it, that they would be like that? It's something to think about with these type of people. When you come to them and say, what do you mean? Can you explain yourself? What is your meaning in what you're saying there? And they reply without logic. Okay, what are they going to reply with? Just take a wild guess. What are they going to reply with if they do not have logic? I'll bet they'll use emotions. And that is exactly what they do. And they blame me, or pardon me, they castigate me, they berate me for coming on and being rude and emotional. And then they reply to me the same way but leave out the logic. This is bizarre. This is hypocrisy. Remember that when you talk to people who do not use logic. They'll come back with something illogical, i.e. emotional, and good luck with that. But I just wanted to point out how stupid they are, which we already knew, and how hypocritical they are. which I hadn't really realized in this depth yet. It's obvious when you put it that way. You go to someone who's being irrational, and you point out that they're being irrational, and they reply to you, and they have either a rational reply or an irrational reply. And guess which one irrational people use?